New flavors of the KD19 have arrived. Which one's your favorite? Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to WearTesters. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on the Nike KD19s. We actually have 3 pairs. It's kind of crazy. So this is the colorway that's dropping first. I think I just saw the notification on sneakers this morning. And what did they say? June 13th? So I'm pretty sure that's when this colorway is coming. They've labeled it as Orange Crush, but to me it kind of looks like his Texas theme because, you know, he went to the University of Texas. So that's what I think that this colorway plays into as far as KD lore goes. And then we also have this other colorway that I've never seen before. They call these the Bubblegum Bounce. These are super loud. And then last but not least, this is the pair that I've already started playing in. I just really like this color. I don't know why, but they call this the Butter Candies. Now, before you guys freak out, no, this is not the retail box. They did show the retail box with the sneakers update. And I know that a lot of you guys saw the seating kit that went around everywhere where it was a big crate and they had an elaborate setup with all the tech breakdown and stuff. So that's obviously not going to be the retail box. That would be insane. Who's crazy enough to do something like that, LeBron?
Who, me? Yes, me.
And then these are just samples. That's the craziest part, is that Nike sent me a boatload of samples, which I just am shocked by. These samples are really interesting because they come in actual labeled boxes that are labeled as samples. And I have to blur out some things because I'm not pretty sure I'm not allowed to show certain people. But in case you wanted to see what an actual sample tag and all that stuff looks like, this is what's on the box. Then this is what's hung on the box. And then inside, there's a sample tag as well as a sample stamp. These are kind of newer updates, I would say. They're sampled out everywhere. But the product itself is what will actually be available. These are not different than the retail pairs. They're just not part of the retail pairs. That's something that a lot of people don't know either, is that samples are made aside from the main allotment or order. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're just allocated differently.
Yes. So
these are not considered a part of the
retail stuff.
Batch.
Exactly. So yeah, so these are not backdoored or anything, you know what I mean? What people would call it. It's not like that. It's just they're not part of the batch, but they're not a true sample where it's like a production sample where they could be a little bit different.
It's kind of like friends and family. Those ones are completely separate as well.
Correct. Yeah, those are promo samples. These are not promo samples. These are actual hey, this is the finished product in the finished colorway. We're sending it to Nike HQ for full-on approval of this color, that color, and this color. Hopefully they're good. First things first, this is the outsole right here. They do look like Thunderbolt patterns, and per the press release, they are the number 35 and the number 7 all mixed into one. So this is kind of an accumulation of KD's numbers throughout the years. A little bit of homage to certain teams and things like that. So I think that's really cool. Again, I have been playing in this specific pair right here, and the traction so far has been very good, but I wouldn't say it's elite or anything like that. You definitely need to wipe here or there. There are some slick moments, but I don't know if that's from the outsole's traction pattern being unreliable, or I think it's just the way that they move. I think that it's hard to keep full-on contact with the floor, the surface, with the rubber outsole, with the way that this shoe is manufactured. They're very, very stiff. But yeah, this is the outsole. I probably wouldn't recommend this for outdoors. It's very soft and pliable, so indoors primarily. However, if you wanted to wear these casually, I don't know what everybody else's thoughts are. I see a lot of comments in our videos and on Instagram and stuff like that where they're saying that these are trash, but I kind of like the way that these look. You know what I mean? They look, to me anyways, like they kind of pull from a Foamposite mixed with a Nike Hyperflight. And I mean, that's my era of footwear, so I like this. These are cool, man. Now the midsole itself is a super interesting setup. It's a double last, or what sometimes is referred to as an overlast midsole. Basically, that means that the midsole is housed within the upper, and then they wrap the upper around it while it's being lasted. And that just basically means while the last or the foot shape is inside the foot, or not the foot, but inside the shoe's upper, it's kind of usually upside down like this, and then they'll be attaching everything. So it's kind of like that. It's really interesting. It's a different way of doing things. The reason why they make shoes like this, or the reason why they used to do it and they still do it now, is so that you get the upper and your foot to close or cinch your foot onto the footbed, which is the midsole, closer than anything else. So we're supposed to be getting a one-to-one fit without much movement restriction and all of that that stuff. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on what they use for the upper. That's why something like this actually does work versus something like the GT Future where it really didn't. And then you got something kind of in the middle like the Nike Foamposite where if you give them enough time, they definitely work, but do you want to put in that much time or effort? Some people do, some people don't. But in terms of overall tech, Cushlon 3.0 is the overall midsole used, or the midsole foam. And then on top of that is a full-length Zoom Strobel. So I love that that's back. I have not been liking the KD setup that we've gotten the last 2 years where it's half air and half zoom. I really love the years that we got from, I think it was from the 12 to the 14, maybe the 15 as well. This thing brings things back to what was used in some of the greatest performing KD models ever while adding Cushlon 3.0 to the mix. Is that a good move? Is it a bad move? I think that when it's housed like this, where it's fully wrapped like this, this is a solid move. But again, they are very stiff. I can't tell if it's just from the upper, like being over everything, or if there's a plate that runs through it, because the graphics only show a midfoot plate. It's like just the oval, but it feels like something's in there. I don't know what it could be. Obviously, it could be an extended plate. And if it's not an extended plate, I do think that that's weird that it's so stiff because the upper is not. So yeah, it's very interesting. In terms of the way that everything feels, like I said, I've been playing in them a little bit. It's not my favorite setup or anything. It's not because of the cushion though. It's just because of the way that they don't flex. However, the way that the cushion feels underfoot is, I would say, not like the Jordan 39 or 40, where it could be considered like too much cushion, even though it is going towards that direction. I think that because everything is wrapped up like this, it does mute things enough to where it doesn't feel overly mushy. You know what I mean? Like it's got a nice little springy effect or springy feeling underfoot. If there was a little bit more forefoot flex, I think that you would really feel that pop underneath your feet. And I think that that would be something that a lot of people would gravitate towards. Will that happen eventually over time with some break-in? It's very possible. Like when I have them in hand, like you can eventually break them. When they're brand new like this one, they're super stiff. So that's the thing. Given enough time, I think that some people might really like these, but enough time is the key word. Like do you have the patience to really break these things in? I don't see how someone like KD wears a brand new pair every day. Like that's just like, I'll be like, no, I can't do that. This is the insole, by the way. No longer is it those like recycled insoles, so that's kind of cool, but it does have the little carve out in there so that the Zoom Strobel fits within it. Makes everything feel super smooth. Now the upper, thank goodness, is nothing like what they use on the GT Futures. They're both synthetic, but the Future used something that was just a really hard shell. I think they were trying to mimic Foamposite without using Foamposite material. I thought that was a mistake. If you're gonna go in that direction, just use Foamposite. It's easier, even though it's super expensive, because that's a brand new shoe, a brand new mold. And we all know that that shoe in particular, with the way that it's constructed with its poured polyurethane that then turns solid, poured meaning liquid, that's how it starts out, is not cheap to do. So in that sense, I would have maybe gone in this direction. I think that if this upper was on the GT Futures, that the GT Future would have been way more playable. So what is this exactly? It's basically a synthetic that feels kind of like a vinyl. It's soft, it's malleable. Again, it's not as bad as the Futures. Like the Futures just was trash. These, not so much. More so surprised. I'm surprised that they were able to get all of this molding in here in something so soft. But yeah, if I were to describe it, it feels like a vinyl. It doesn't smell like a vinyl or anything like that, but it feels like a vinyl. It's just kind of soft to the touch. It's, again, malleable, pliable. It flexes. It's just that something in the forefoot here is restricting the motion, at least for now. The lacing structure is internal, so that coupled with the overlast or double last setup, again, cinches your foot and locks it down really, really nicely. In addition to that, the tongue area, which feels incredible. I love the molded tongue here. It is gusseted, so it's attached, so there's no movement or anything like that. Technically, it's a sleeve, and it's attached to the entire like lining. So there it is, but I love the way that this tongue is molded, bro. Like there is all this padding here. It sits against your foot so nicely, and it's just super comfortable. Oh yeah, so the yellow pair that I played in doesn't have the sample tag in it. It just has,
that's the only one I didn't pick up.
Yeah, it just has this tag in there, which is a sample tag, whereas these pink ones literally have the stamp and the tag. Oh, and the orange ones don't either. So this is really interesting. So yeah, I don't know, they're all the same shoe, but still. But yeah, and I also really like the way that the lining looks. They've kind of made it look like a jersey material, which I just think looks slick. It also feels really good too. And then you have an extra set of eyelets right here at the top that are external for additional draw into the heel, which is very important, especially with the way that these guys fit. So speaking of fit, they do fit true to size. They are a much more forgiving fit than something like the Jaw 3s or the Sabrina line. So they don't feel quite as tapered as those models do. They still do feel a little bit snug at first, but with some quick break-in time, that went away in no time. Like, this is definitely a much more forgiving fit. And I personally appreciate that. Like, I think that this last that they used here is much better than anything that they've been using in like the past like 5 or 6 years. So true to size is what I would recommend for wide footers. Try them on in store if possible, just to be safe. I do think that the materials here are forgiving enough to accommodate you, but you never know. I will say that if you do go up half a size, there will be some heel flopping action, which there already is right from the get-go until that 4-foot flex breaks in. Now, with all that being said, what is today's viewer submitted question of the day?
What are your thoughts on Curry signing with li-ning?
I think it's a great move for him. I think that there's a lot of people that have the Chinese stigma in their mindset, which is unfortunate, but also not surprising, knowing most Americans. A lot of people act like they're irritated because it's just like, oh, what are we gonna wear in the streets? Like, this is what I keep like reading, hearing, all this. So this, especially when I'm talking to people and stuff too, like they all say the same thing. And I'm just kind of like, bro, I don't know if y'all realize this, but like, these are basketball players and some of them only care about performing on the floor. And these shoes are basketball shoes. They're not lifestyle shoes. Guess what people are wearing right now for lifestyle? They're wearing Birkenstocks, they're wearing Uggs, they're wearing Crocs. Like, are you really gonna switch from those things to a basketball shoe? Like, really, be honest. So why are you worried about it? You know what I mean? You're just complaining about something just to complain about something when it's not actually going to affect you in that way. So these shoes are basketball shoes at the end of the day. They're made for basketball players. And so for basketball players, people that will actually buy them to try them on a basketball court, I think it's a great move. For people that have that stigma about Chinese brands, this might actually sway some of them to try it. So that could be a great move, like for li-ning in general. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. If anything, like what, the Wade 12 is last year's best basketball shoe. This year's best basketball shoe is a toss-up, I will say, but it's tossed up between different Chinese shoes. I don't know if there's a Nike or a Jordan, at least not yet, on my personal list. And that's crazy to me to think, because I don't think that that's ever happened. But yeah, all the shoes that I really love playing in right now are not the brands that are mainstream. And he took straight up, like, he took shots at these brands, like at Nike and at Jordan. Like, did you hear the speech?
The future of Curry brand will be powered by a company truly rooted in sports and innovation. A partner dedicated to creating quality products with sneakers that I believe in, that will continue to deliver at the highest level.
He's saying specifically that this brand was created by an athlete and they create products for athletes, and they are truly rooted in performance and innovation, something that has been a big problem with this brand, at least as of late. And then he talked about straight up the quality and everything. That's a tagline of Jordan Brand, you know what I mean? Quality products inspired by the greatest player ever. Like, he's taking straight up shots at these guys, dude. Like, it's crazy.
I love it.
The funniest part about it is that he has every right to say whatever he just said, because he spent the entire year wearing everybody's stuff. So who better to make that decision than him for him? He wore everybody's everything, and he already can tell now. He's a hooper too. He's like, yeah, this stuff is the best, period. Outside of that, do I think that everybody is gonna love the KD19? I don't think so. Do I think that they will enjoy this shoe a lot more than something very similar like the GT Futures? Yes, I do. I think that this is a much better direction than what the Future was, just material choice alone, despite the overall kind of build and manufacturing process, if you will, being very similar. So yeah, I think that this is a better shoe than that in terms of performance. Do I think this is gonna be the greatest KD of all time? No. Do I think that they're very comfortable? Yes. And do I think that they look cool? That's a big yes. I think that these look really sick, but again, they look like shoes that I grew up really loving. So I might just be biased in that way, you know what I mean? Where I see it and I'm just like, I mean, they remind me of some of my favorite shoes. So what do you want me to do? I like the way that these look. But with all that being said, I would love to know your guys' thoughts on the Nike KD19s. Have you played in a pair? Have you not? Are you anticipating it? Or is this something that you're completely passing on? And if so, why? Sound off below. Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to Nike for sending all of these over. I greatly appreciate it. We'll catch you guys in the next one. So until then, Y'all have a good one.